Hello again, teachers. This is John over in Educational Technology, and we've got some very exciting news for you using Google Meet, in that they are starting to roll out many of the features that were promised to us this month. So the features we're going to cover today are primarily focused on security and just being able to customize the learning environment within your Google Meet. So to try and kill two birds with one stone here, what you are looking at is over here on the right. This right window is me, as in the teacher. I am logged in here as me. And this window over here on the left, this will be a student. So as we go through this, you guys will get an idea of what the difference is between a student view and teacher view. So I'm going to go ahead and just start a meeting. And by the way, even though I am using a nickname for our example today, these features are exactly the same across the board however students join. So if you are using Google Calendar, it will work the same. If you're using Google Classroom, it will work the same. If you're auto-generating a link at a breakout rooms, it's still going to work the same. So I'm just using this for now. So let's just call this security test. Copy that. So I am in here as a teacher, and I'm going to go ahead and just turn these off so I don't kill my computer. And the newest feature you're going to notice is that you've got this little blue shield down here at the bottom. And I think most of us have already recognized it there, but it's very important, something that was just added in the last probably 24 hours. And that is this one called Quick Access. So to show you guys how these work, I am going to have to log in over here as a student, but I want to cover what Quick Access is first. So if you read it, it says, when turned off, everyone who isn't invited must ask to join, including people in your organization. So when we say the word invited, they are talking specifically about Google Calendar. So in other words, if you turn this off, which we're highly suggesting, nobody can get into your meeting unless you created the meeting in Google Calendar and specifically shared it with each person you want to come in. There's nothing wrong with doing that. I personally have yet to meet a teacher who is using Google Calendar and inviting all 30 or 36 of their students to the meet. So I'm going to assume that that's most of us. Now, over here, I'm going to suggest you guys turn this off. And what that does is it creates kind of like a quasi waiting room. In other words, anybody and everybody who wants to join, they have to knock to get into your Google Meet. So let's go ahead and turn that off so you guys can see how that works from a student perspective. So now I'm going to use that Meet, and I am a student over here. Continue. And you notice on their screen, it's gonna say ask to join. So they don't just go in, even if they're in my Google Classroom. So they click on ask to join. I, the teacher, will now get this pop-up saying, hey, so-and-so wants to join your Meet. Even though there is some extra clicks for us as teachers to let everybody in, we highly suggest that you use this so that you are admitting or not admitting each person into your Meet. There is the idea of using this in Google Calendar that we'll cover in a next tutorial, but for now, we're going to suggest you guys do it this way. And so you're going to click on Admit, let everybody into your Meet. As soon as you know everybody's in your Meet, the rule is don't let anybody in. So once they're in and you get additional pop-ups, don't let anybody in. But here's what's also really valuable about that new feature. A student, previously, some of us saw that they were going in here, they were clicking on add people, and they were typing in a phone number, and they're calling people into the Meet. And you'll notice now, as long as I have that off in my teacher side, again, I have quick access off, students no longer have the ability to do that. Now, they can technically send an email to another student to have them join, but they're not going to be able to join unless you admit them. So again, remember the rule, do not admit anybody once your students are in. And just to show you guys what that looks like, let's say I turn quick access back on, and now the students go in, they can call people back in. So again, this right there is probably the biggest reason you guys want to make sure that quick access is turned off. We don't want to give those capabilities to students. The other two things down here, I think most of us have already realized what they do, but just to cover it real quick, so far, anybody can kind of present their screen and anybody can chat, and we have very little control over that. So what these do is they give you guys some customization in your instruction. There's obviously times when you're going to want to allow students to share their screen. It's obviously very helpful in your instruction. So when this is on, students will have the present now button down here, and they can present just like we normally would. However, if you turn that off, their present button just literally disappears down here at the bottom. So again, if you know that you're doing a class session where you're the only one that needs to be presenting to the class, I would say turn it off. It's one less thing to worry about. Same thing goes for chat. Now, the chat can be very helpful depending upon what you're doing in your lesson. Sometimes that's a collaboration space. Sometimes that's your back channel for students to either get help from you if they have questions or from other students. So I'm not recommending you turn it off all the time, but I think we all know there are times when we just flat out don't want the chat on. We want students focused on something that's being presented, and you want it off. So right now, if I go to chat, you notice that students can type something in here, and that'll pop up to everybody. However, if I turn this off, they can still see the chat. So in other words, if you type something in the chat, they'll still see it, but you notice down here at the bottom, they can no longer type anything down here. So it basically revokes their ability to use the chat, and then it's as easy as that slider. Just turn it right back on so that they have the ability to type again. So that's what that does. And then if you click on view all host settings, right now, those are the only things that are there, but just want you guys to know that this is under settings. So if you go to your three dots and then you guys go to settings, you'll have the same thing that we just showed you under host controls. So quick access, again, we're going to suggest you guys just flat out leave it off. And then share screen and send chat messages. So I hope that helps everybody out. Hopefully those new security tools will alleviate many frustrations and issues that some of us have been running into. So I will say we will see you next time. Remember, you cannot be an analog teacher in a digital world. See you soon.